Good evening and welcome to another Desi and Gora show. As usual, my friend, the Desi Gora. Tom Jones, coach of 365.com. I'm giving you a free plug today, mate.
Yeah, well, get it right next time. cricketcoach365.co.uk.
That's the one, that's it. Well, it's better if you plug it yourself, isn't it? How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Had a fun-packed day. Played a bit of golf, done some work. Been disappointed to see that Worcestershire didn't make it to the final of the Bob Willis Trophy, but probably the better side in Somerset qualified. So, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. Just been a busy day. Been running around. Just around about Eid Day, we had a little bump in the car, and Ruxana had to take her to hospital to get today, and she's got a bandage now. I don't know, these injuries, she's had one on the right arm, one left now, and she's had a broken leg in the last 3 years, so she's making a collection of it. She probably likes hospital food, that's what I said to her. But that's another issue. Golf, it's interesting. I've never played golf to this day.
Well, maybe I should invite you next time I'm across the Pennines with that Crumble, and we can play for the Crumble.
What Crumble is that? What are you talking about, mister?
This Crumble.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I need to eat that sometime, don't I? Humble crumble pie. Yeah, you've got it right, 2-1. It was a good game last night. I watched some of it. I was struggling to watch most of it, but Moeen Ali, my mate Moeen Ali, was captaining England for the first time. We're proud of the fact that Moeen Ali, he comes from my home city, well, his dad comes from my home city back in Mirpur in Azad Kashmir, and also Brum.
Oh, is he from Kashmir?
He's actually Kashmiri, yeah. So is
Right.
Adil Rashid, they're both from Kashmir. So it's a proud moment for all of us to have given the current situation. You probably heard of it, the Azim Rafiq and the race issues at Yorkshire. So really nice to see that Moeen Ali was handed the captaincy of England. That's the first time actually he's an official England captain in a competitive match. I know he's actually captained them once in an aside match, but that's not the real thing. This is actually was for the first time. They lost the game, but I think it was some good performance here from one of our other Yorkshiremen, Bairstow.
Yeah. So is going back to Moeen and captaincy, is that the first time an Asian player has captained England?
Well, I was just talking to Aman in the car when we was driving up here. No, it depends how you see Nasser Hussain. Nasser Hussain's of mixed race.
Yeah.
Born in India. So he's his dad's Indian, so it's a mixed race. So and the other thing, well, I know Nasser Hussain's father is Junaid as well. Whether he calls himself a Muslim or not, well, he follows his religion. So because I've just was reading something on ESPN, and they were saying that Moeen Ali is the first Asian and first Muslim player to captain England. But then, the question marks have to be, what does Nasser Hussain describe himself? And if he doesn't, then obviously Moeen Ali becomes the first one.
Yeah, I think he probably won't align himself to the Muslim faith. I don't think Nasser Hussain's done that. I think his father was more religious than him. But anyway, either way, very pleased for Moeen Ali. Bairstow got a 50, but although I didn't see it live, I believe that he didn't really go through the gears as quickly as he can do. But he needed those runs because he's not scored many runs for England in the last few months. But they didn't post enough runs, I don't think. And whilst somebody was telling me that Tom Curran made it interesting with the first two balls of the final over being dot balls, and what eventually turned out to be the winning run was very nearly a run out. Australia were never really in any trouble, and won at a canter. So yes, I won the bet. 2-1.
Yes, you did. Actually, it was Jordan who was bowling the last over. One thing which we were surprised by last night was Tom Curran bowled the 19th, and everybody was saying, how come he hasn't brought Jofra Archer back? And that was one thing, because I watched the back end of the innings and stuff, and You know, they were saying you should have just brought him, and he was going for slowing down the game, like taking the pace off the ball. That was Moynes' thinking on that, but it didn't work. Yeah, it was interesting last over, but there was a delivery from Adil Rashid, which got. I'm trying to think who he actually got. I think Finch. That was a brilliant delivery, and he got 3 for 21 again. He's been magnificent in the white ball cricket for the last 4 years. He's just been 5 years now. He's been top man.
Yeah, I think that he deserves a lot of credit, and without him, England are nowhere near the same kind of all-functioning, all-round team. And you mentioned Archer. I listened to Five Live with Archer opening the bowling, and the first over that he bowled, I think, went for at least 10 or 12 runs, and he was bowling too short and too wide. And he has got the X factor in terms of that pace, but he has to bowl with discipline. And if he doesn't bowl to discipline with discipline, I don't care who you are. You know, the top 3 or 4 batsmen in international cricket are going to have a go. So he's got to bowl with a lot more control, and that's probably why Moeen didn't bring him back, because it was probably a higher risk strategy to bring him back rather than Jordan, who's far better, quote unquote, at death bowling. And Tom Curran has been proven to have that discipline at the end of an innings as well.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. I mean, Wright. Sometimes I don't see some of these fast bowlers. They lack discipline. You know, for whatever reason, they disappear on the day, don't they? So the X factor goes out of the window. But in the end, it was a close game. Actually, in between yesterday was one of the strangest evenings, because I was switching over to the football game at England against Denmark. That was pretty dreadful. Really stalemate. There's nothing happening in there, and it's very odd to watch international football these days, and not many people actually watch. I mean, I'm reading some of the social media comments afterwards, and I think everybody just seems to think club football is a lot better than watching England these days. I heard people say this morning, I think Carlton Cole said on Talksport, he was watching paint dry watching England last night.
Yeah, it just didn't seem to go for them. I watched a little bit of it as well. It was very dull. They weren't. There are lots of kind of cliches now used, aren't there, in football punditry? But you know, they were very, very passive, and they were a bit like that against Iceland as well. I think they're trying to kind of reshape the way they play. But I think everyone's desperate to see them play with a little bit more flair and a little bit more sort of aggressive nature going forward. But for whatever reason, that didn't click at all against Denmark, and it was a very, very lacklustre performance. And you know, our Jackie Grealish coming on did probably one of the most proactive things in the whole 90 minutes. Well, no, he took on 2 or 3 players in the box.
I'm surprised he hasn't dived. He's one of those. He does a Neymar special, doesn't he? Roll around a bit. He likes the smell of the grass, doesn't he?
I thought you introduced me as a friend, and now you type that.
And listen, when it comes to football, Leeds and Aston Villa, there's no friendship, lad. You know this shirt up here. Yes.
Well, you know, good luck and all that, and I hope to see you still playing in the Premier League at the end of next season.
Yeah, we'll finish above you. Whether that's you guys finish your 20th and we finish 19th, maybe that will be the case. But I'm sure. Now we've actually spent some, we've spent wisely, whereas you guys have just blown a lot of money on somebody who's from a championship player. Last season, they think he's going to be an international. We went and bought a Spanish international, lad. Well, good to see that you're bringing the youngsters through. You know, and I believe in that succession planning from every club in this country. That is killing the chance for English young talent to come through, unfortunately, because as soon as you get into the Premier League, everybody and anybody wants to come and play for you. But you know, it's the way of the world, unfortunately. I know we've got some decent players in our team who are English, quite a few of them. But obviously, in Premiership, where the whole thing changes, it's not many teams have got English players. Do you think? I mean, we've gone off the tangent from the cricket gupshop to the football. Do you think there are far too many foreign players in Premiership at the moment?
Yeah, completely far too many. And whilst it is the most exciting sort of commercial football product to watch in the world, and therefore I totally understand, the market forces, it's preventing British talent from coming through into first team football at that top end. So that's been the case now for a number of years, and Sky should take part responsibility with that, as well as the Premier League themselves. But there should be probably a cap on the number of foreign players playing in first team football in the Premier League, I would suggest.
Yeah.
By the way,
look
out for a young lad, 16-year-old lad, who's in the lead. He's training with the Leeds under-23s at the minute, called Max Dean.
Okay. I will look out for him.
We know him from Everton. He was Everton until last season, and then Leeds had picked him up and offered him a scholarship and a 1-year pro, I think. So he's a cracking lad and a really good player. So look out for him, all Leeds fans. Max Dean. Max
Dean. Okay. Well, I think we've got lots of good players. I mean, Leeds over the years, the academy has produced really, really talented players and have gone on to play in Premiership. There are a number of them are still playing, actually, including old James Milner at Liverpool.
Milner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the oldest swinger in football.
Yeah, and he's a fit lad.
He could have played cricket.
Yeah, is he a good cricketer?
Yeah, he could have played cricket, I think, to a reasonable level. By all accounts, I watched something a few years ago when they were doing a pre-season on Liverpool behind the scenes, and 3 or 4 players had to go in the nets, and he was by far the most accomplished.
Can you remember who was the last actually player who played, I think, county cricket as well as first division football?
Well, I think there was Jim Coombs, obviously, for Lancashire.
He played for Lancashire.
He played for Lancashire, and he was goalkeeper for Villa, I think. And then there was Phil Neal, who was captain for Worcestershire, and he played for someone like Lincoln, I think.
Lincoln yes, City. He did. Yeah, not the Phil Neal at Liverpool, but the Phil Neal at Lincoln City, wasn't he? Yeah, England's. Yeah, because England had the right back Phil Neal at Liverpool, didn't he? The old timer.
Yeah, but I can't remember anybody in the modern game now, because that guy with the 2 Longstaff brothers at Newcastle United, both of them were very, very good junior county cricketers, and were by all accounts on the pathway to becoming, being offered professional contracts with Durham. But they both chose football for I don't know what reasons, but from an outsider perspective, if you had the choice, you'd probably choose football because you've got far more financial gain to be made. But yeah, so those 2 are the only one, or the latest names of youngsters I know who have gone on to play professional top flight football in England, who could have played professional cricket, but you can't do both now.
Yeah, no, you can't do. The Neville brothers that good as well. I think one of the Nevilles was a pretty good cricketer.
Yeah, Phil Neville could have played.
Yeah. He was supposed to be a good cricketer. And also, if you remember, Ryan Sidebottom, I think he played county cricket, obviously for Yorkshire, and played for England. But I think he had a game or 2 at Man United. I'm sure. We'll have to check that out, but I'm sure he did.
Yeah, check your research on that one.
Yeah. No, he did play. He played a game or 2 somewhere, but also Steve Ogzuich, whatever he was surname was very hard to pronounce. He played for Coventry City. He was a minor. Yeah, that's the one who played for Liverpool as well, didn't he? Yeah, the keeper. He actually played minor counties cricket, didn't he?
Yeah, he played minor counties. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could do some quick competitions of asking people to actually name some of the players that they probably can remember who played both. Did anybody? I wonder if anybody actually played for England at both levels. If anybody has actually represented England, or even somebody else.
I think that happened, decades ago. But I don't. In the modern era of sport, as things have become more professional, that's not happened. But I think that has happened, maybe back in the 50s or whatever, or maybe 60s. But I don't think since then.
Yeah, it's all changing. The Premiership now, it's just completely. The game's actually changed so much. I mean, the last time we came up from second division, we finished. I think it was about 10th or in the first season back at first division. In the second year we won it. So there is something for us to do. There's something for Leeds United to aspire to. We could finish mid-table next season and the following season. We could topple Liverpool or Man City at the top, whoever it is. I have to be optimistic. Actually, Aman's laughing his head off in the corridor.
Well, good for Aman, because I was quietly just switching off because I think whilst I'm delighted Leeds are back, and I really do hope they do well and stay up, I think that would be good for football as a whole. Unfortunately, the size of the squads and wage bills for what has been a championship side for the last few years is very, very difficult to compete with the Premier League, bankrolled teams. Although Sheffield United proved everyone wrong last year, so maybe they could take a leaf out of their book.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, the actual chair is empty at the moment. Leeds and Villa game. We'll have to sit here together and fight you out, mate. And you can bring your.
I don't really want to take part in that, to be honest with you.
Oh, come on.
That will end in tears.
All right, it's all right. We can share the pie. We can share that pie. I'll get an apple. I'll get some food for you. I'll get you some desi Bradford food, mate. The friendship, only 90 minutes. After that, we won't be friends for 90 minutes, but after that, we can go for a curry, or we can get it in here in the studio. Moving back to cricket, let's get back to the game. That's Friday. The one-day series starts. Predictions? Are we going to go for it again? The similar, or are you sticking to, or am I going to go for the 3-0 again?
Well, I'm not going to go for a 3-0 either way. I think it'll be a closer run thing than 3-0. You can stick with your 3-0 predictions, but I've not seen the squads, so I don't really want to commit to any predictions until I've seen the squads. Plus, are they all being played at Old Trafford?
Yeah, they are all being played at Old Trafford. Yeah, that's
right. So again, it's a different wicket. So yeah, I'll wait until reserve judgment until I've seen the two teams. I would say England are favourites simply because they played more cricket than Australia in its home conditions. But I think the Australians will be motivated by really, they probably should have won that series, the T20 series, and have come out on the wrong side of a 2-1 defeat. So I think they'll be very motivated to try to get revenge in this one-day series.
It was interesting that that 3-0 scenario would have put England top of the T20 table. They would have been number one side. And Australia won that game and have gone to top now. Have you had a chance to look at who's that number one batsman now?
No, but I'm sure you have.
Oh, yes, I have. I've seen it. Babar Azam's been knocked off his perch by David Malan.
David Malan is ranked number one T20 batsman in the world?
Yep. Yes, mate. Yes, mate. That's the latest breaking news for you.
He needs to take a photo of that and make sure he saves it for generations to come, because I bet you in his wildest dreams he never thought that would ever be the case. So well done him. That's great. Amazing.
Yeah. Because again, he scored well yesterday as well, and he's had a very consistent run in the team. He's played it almost literally. He's played in every game, because some of the other players have had one good innings or one bad and so like being, but he has been consistent in the 6 matches that he's actually played, and so fantastic that he's actually got to number one. Yeah, I've seen that earlier today that he's toppled Mr. Babar Azam, and one of the things he said, I'm not Virat Kohli, I'm not as good a batsman as he is. So I think he knows that he's on there maybe for a short time, but great to be amongst the greats of the game.
Yeah, you can't deny him that sort of moment of success and personal accolade. I know Sophie Eccleston, who is a local Cheshire young lady who is now very established in the England women's team and Lancashire Thunder women's team. She's, I think, ranked in the top 3 spin bowlers in the world. She's only 22. And 3 years ago, there's absolutely no way she would have thought that would be something that she would see herself, be recognised for. So it is possible for these relatively unknown names who haven't come from the most privileged backgrounds, from the biggest counties or the best private schools, to actually overachieve, and I say overachieve, but achieve really high standards that perhaps they wouldn't have even predicted themselves. So really made up for Milan, and I think he scored 130 odd runs, hasn't he, in these 3 games against Australia, and that's quite unusual in T20. You don't normally, it's scores over 30 that you see, and what the strike rate, that's how they're measured, not on batting average, and yet he seems to have bucked the trend. So good, well done.